What's up, everyone? My name is Chad, host of A Bloody Good Time. I'm joined by the other host, Marcy and Bede. Welcome to a
Hello.
new episode
Hello
of
there.
Ranked, where we put together obscene lists of horrors topics, and we see if we can match. And then at the end, we score them. First, the first number 10 is 1 point, up to 2, 3, 4, and then if you rank number 1, you automatically get 10 points. And we go to the three top three, and then this one is, since I know what you did last summer, is being requeled,
Yes.
remade. I don't know what you call it.
Something.
I, I would say it's a requel. So it's a sequel.
I
Well,
They're
legacy
doing Scream.
sequel. Yeah, legacy sequel, I would say.
They're
If we're
doing a
going to go there.
Scream.
Yes.
Mm.
That nobody asked for. Just saying, nobody asked for this.
Mm-hmm.
I
But
mean,
we're gonna do.
that's
Did
what
you ask for
you
it, Bede?
think. I always ask for everything I know what you did last summer because I want Freddie Prinze Jr. back on the big screen, damn it.
Yeah, he's keeps going on, and his wife's dead in the series. So it's whatever.
Of course.
So today we're gonna give our top 90s horror movies. This is a very tough list to really rank, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys,
Mm.
but if you're ready, let's do our number 10 90s horror. Show 'em. Ring You, From Dusk Till Dawn. Okay. That's some good choices. Marcy.
Yeah. So I don't think there's ever been another movie that, as I watched it, I was getting weird phone calls, and weird phone calls are part of this movie. And I just felt so unsettled with everything. And I was pretty convinced after I watched the movie, I had 7 days to live. And on that seventh day, I was so sure I was going to die. No other movie has really had an impact like that on me. So I've always just been very fond of this film. I think I saw it at the right time. It was before it got remade, so there wasn't all this massive hype to kind of ruin the experience for me. And I love the movie so much that I'm not the biggest fan of the remake, while a lot of people are, but I think it is one of the defining horror films of the 90s.
Yeah, especially it is, I think I want to say introduced um Japanese horror to
Mm,
Americans, especially with the I think when the remake came out, it
mm,
obviously helped, and then we got cluttered with a lot of remakes, but
yeah.
um Ring is a great choice. I like The Faculty because it's fun. It's a fun horror
Mm.
movie. And you
It
got
is.
that cast. This is pre Elijah Wood, Proto, Josh Hartnett. Just I don't know what was released first, Faculty or H2O. Um,
Mm,
but he
can't
blew
remember.
up. This cast is like Jordan Brewster before Fast and the Furious. Usher's in this for a brief second. Robert Patrick, Salma Hayek, BB Newt. This cast is great. And this is a fun, you know, 60s horror movie-ish with the slugs and then the creature at the end. I think it's a fun horror movie.
Mm. Agreed.
Yeah.
And my other pick, my number 10 pick was also the other Robert Rodriguez horror film that he released in the 90s, which is From Dusk Till Dawn, which I think is a good combination of, since he directed it, Quentin Tarantino wrote it, it feels like a good combination of both their styles. Because obviously you got the first
Mhm.
half, which feels very much like a crime story with Tarantino's trademark dialogue there.
Mm,
But of course, once it gets to the titty twister and the vampire stuff comes in, that's where it becomes really fun. And you just see Robert Rodriguez going all out with the action, the gore, and the special effects. And it's just a hugely entertaining film. And I kind of wish I would love to be the audience when they went and saw this for the first time, because I
Mhm.
know like early marketing didn't really indicate that it was a vampire film.
Mm.
Because I think they tried to set it up as like, oh, it's a siege film in that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So I'd love to
Yeah,
be
that,
there
that
just to see
first
that
viewing
twist.
is so jarring because it just happens and you're like, holy shit, just become this completely different movie. This is kind of awesome.
Yeah, it
Exactly.
takes you, and that's the beauty of the movie too.
Yeah, and it just takes you by surprise, and it's just a fun like movie that in a lot of ways kind of feels like a precursor to what they would do on Grindhouse as well, because they're going for that sort of
Mhm.
Oh, big fan.
70s,
Yeah.
80s kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
Grindhouse exploitation or action horror film.
Mm.
Yeah. All right, that's our number 10. And our number 9, Marcy, why do you got that evil look on your
Because
face?
I feel like people are going to want this to be higher than it is.
All right, show it.
Oh,
Cure, Marcy, explain.
yeah, Marcy, explain.
Well, Scream is a fantastic 90s horror film. It is the iconic and perhaps definitive 90s horror film. I just happen to think there are 8 other films that are slightly better than it. With all that said, all of my picks are, for me, 5-star films. So,
Okay. So you're not dissing it. You just think that there's better.
yes, I just rank the other ones higher than Scream, even though they're 5-star movies.
Okay. Okay.
But I love Scream. Scream helped define me as a horror fan, honestly. It sort of opened my eyes to like more things that I could watch because they referenced them.
Mhm.
It is one of the quintessential horror films of the 90s, but I think and also just it's almost like proving a point where people were like, yeah, 90s weren't good for horror. Like, oh yeah, there was Scream, but it's like, no, there's definitely so much more than Scream. The 90s were actually fantastic for horror.
Yeah, that's why this list was very hard to like really. You could pick the
Mm,
movies, but putting them in order was probably the hardest.
mm.
Bede, The Cure, which is the Japanese horror movie.
Indeed. Yeah, it's Kiyoshi Kurosawa's film. And I would say, because there were a lot of kind of police procedural films after the release of Seven, but I think what
Mm,
makes Cure like it definitely is Japan's answer to Seven. Not a rip-off, but kind of in that sort of same vein of
mm.
this like dark, sort of brooding kind of serial killer police procedural. But I think what makes it really interesting is that it has an utter eeriness to it. It feels very foreboding, and the fact that it has like this story that you kind of think maybe there's a bit of a supernatural element to it, but you're kind of just interested in where the story is going to go, and how it sort of unravels as it goes along is just so unsettling. It really is a very unsettling film, and a lot of people would know Kurosawa's probably his most well-known film, Pulse, the original Japanese film. Like, a lot of that sort of feel and tone is also in Cure as well, and it's just a phenomenal movie. The first time I watched it, I was just completely blown away by it. So if people haven't seen Cure, definitely seek it out. It is a great movie.
Um, I went Wishmaster because it is this. I want to say this is kind of like the Avengers horror movie because you had
Yeah.
Kane Hodder, Tony Todd, Robert Englund. Oh, and then this was 98. I want to say
Mhm.
98. So obviously they were pretty much all done except Jason X came out. But it's a the villain, the Jin is awesome. I'm blanking on his name. Who played him in the
Oh,
human form?
Andrew Divoff.
Andrew.
Andrew Divoff.
Yeah, I
Yes,
was like, give
he
off, and I
was.
couldn't remember the name.
Yeah, I was like, I couldn't remember his first name. I knew his last name, but
Mm.
he was excellent. You had a really smart final girl that battled him. The kills were beautiful. They were beautiful, especially at the beginning when everyone's just dying in the early time frame. But I think it's a fun movie. It gets to the point. You have great kills. It knows it's crazy, and it knows it's like, okay. But it embraces the craziness. So that's why I love it.
I think it's a pretty fun movie, even though it was something that I only more recently in the past few years actually saw for the first time. So
Yeah, don't watch the sequels though. No. It really
Well,
diminishes this. It really diminishes it.
well, I mean, Marcy will have to watch the sequels because it has Jason Connery in
my favorite actor from Puss in Boots with Christopher Walken.
Indeed.
All right, let's go to number 8.
To number 8, yep.
Tremors, Misery, Perfect Blue. What's Perfect Blue? I don't think I've heard that.
Perfect Blue is another Japanese horror film that also came out the
This
same year
almost
as
made my
Sure.
list because it is so fucking amazing. It's another 5-star movie.
Oh yeah, it's an animated film as well. It's
Oh,
essentially a story about this young girl who's a pop star.
Just
So
think it's
she
Black Swan before Black Swan, but with pop stars instead of ballerinas.
okay.
Yes.
That's the movie.
And it has so essentially she decides that she no longer wants to be a pop star and wants to get into acting. And let's just say that one of her biggest fans is not happy about it. So, but the thing is though, it has that sort of stalker element, but it's also a psychological horror film as well.
So it's kind of
And
like
the anime
Misery.
a mixture, a little bit, but yeah, but I
Ooh,
think
so
Black Swan is
match,
a good
match.
yeah, because I would say, like Marcy said, Black Swan is definitely a good comparison, mainly because like Darren Aronofsky has admitted that
Mm.
Perfect Blue was a huge inspiration for
Yeah,
Black Swan, at least in terms of that. So
massively.
it's kind of so it's a definite. I mean, so much so he actually bought the remake rights to the movie just so he could use scenes from it in Black Swan, but also Requiem for a Dream as well
Okay, okay. All
because he
right, I'll
loves the
definitely
movie
have to
that
check
much.
that out. Is it on Tubi?
In
I
Australia it is, but I'm not
mhm.
sure if anywhere else is.
I mean, I'll look it
Oh,
up in terms of where you can find it. I think it might be. Let me just find out.
the
Okay,
animation looks
so
really cool.
yeah, I mean, it is. I think it is out. I mean, it is out there. Obviously, I thought it might have been on Shutter, but I guess I was wrong. But yeah, I mean, definitely seek out Perfect Blue. It's a phenomenal movie.
Um, Tremors. This is a B movie as you can get.
It is. I
Um,
adore Tremors very much.
Perfect cast. Kevin Bacon, Fred Ward. They're awesome together. And it's just a fun movie. This is the with the graboids. It does spin off some fun sequels, not all of them, but some of them are fun. Um, it's just a
Marcy's a
fun
big
movie.
fan.
Tremors is the biggest movies you can get in the 90s of horror movies. Again, I'm gonna use this a lot. It's this movie is so fun. So there's so many quotes in there you can use. Reba McEntire and oh crap, what's his Michael
Michael
Gross.
Gross.
Michael Gross.
Yes.
It's so great. This is such a fun movie. If I had to recommend a fun, 90s movie, I would definitely say Tremors.
Yeah, Tremors is a lot of fun, but I am a big fan of the franchise as a whole. Some are better than others, obviously, but I still
Yeah.
get fun and enjoyment out of them. And Michael Gross is the one who returns for every single one. So
Not is he in part 2? I can't remember.
Yes.
Okay, I know
Guess
Fred
that's-
Ward was in 2. Kevin Bacon has not returned.
Kevin Bacon was not. They were gonna do a TV show, and Kevin Bacon was going to do it, but then nothing ever happened. I think
Oh.
it had something filmed. I can't quite remember. But yeah, there's been a lot of drama with Trevor's. So and
yeah.
Misery for me. It's Misery. We know this. We know what this movie is. It is powerhouse performances with Kathy Bates and James Caan. It is, I don't know, Rob Reiner at one point just had hit after hit, and then he went south with things like North. But before that, like, he did some spectacular films. My favorite movie of all time is Stand By Me. So it's another Rob Reiner, Stephen King collaboration. Stephen King, I believe, wanted Rob Reiner to do this film because of Stand By Me, but it works on every level. You are terrified for James Caan. You are terrified of Kathy Bates, and Lord have mercy, you do not want to kill off Misery in your book, all right? And you're going to get hobbled. It's not going to be pretty. Um, like, it is such an intense and just well done film. Like, it always just leaves you on the edge of your seat, but it also manages to be so highly rewatchable. I think it's just one of those films. I adore it so much.
That's a good. It's a good movie, and the hobbling scene is the. That's literally the only scene that's like I think sticks with you throughout that whole movie. Like that scene defines that movie. So that's a good choice. Number 7.
I don't think this one will be a surprise for Bede with what that I've put it on my list.
Nice. But I've also
Jesus.
picked
Brain Dead.
See, that almost made my list as well.
It was close on mine too. I don't know Tessie. How you say it?
Thesis or thesis?
Okay, what is that?
It is a Alejandro Amenabar film, and it sort of deals with like I'm trying to like get because it's been a little bit since I've rewatched it, but it's sort of in the I wouldn't say it's like found footage, but there's elements of that with like snuff films and going through doing like a thesis on this stuff in college, and this woman kind of goes through a lot of things. Like, I'd rather not reveal too much about it. It's something that for me just needs to be experienced, and I was just blown away when I watched it. And Bede actually recently gifted me a copy of it for my collection. It's yeah, I don't want to give things away, but I just think it's such it's this memorable film. It just hits in all the ways. I honestly I can't recommend it enough, but I also don't want to give anything away because you need to just experience the film.
I feel like left out because my list is obviously stuff that everyone in horror community knows. You guys are going like deep, and I have not seen The Cure. I have not seen Thesis. So Brain Dead, I haven't seen. I haven't seen that in a long time, but I know I did like it. So, it was probably going to be top 15 if I was going with that. From Dusk Till Dawn, I'm not going to really Bede. You said a lot of it. You didn't know what to expect when you first saw it. That first half of the movie, you got a family, you got brothers. You know they're going to meet, but the vampires, you had no idea. It does take a very good turn when it gets to the titty twister. Danny Trejo, Fred Williamson, great secondary characters.
Tom Savini and being Sex Machine.
Yeah, Tom Savini.
It's
He
great.
know that that's him. He didn't act. That was him.
That was just him. It's like, I need a
just like,
cock gun. Like, yeah, sure,
yeah.
okay.
And who Robert Rodriguez like, I have one. You just borrow mine. But it's good movie. And then this is like George Clooney during ER. Was he
I think
filming? Was he
so.
at
Yeah,
ER at the
yeah,
time?
yeah.
So.
So this is a totally different George Clooney than we saw from ER. Obviously, we
Mm,
saw 80s horror movies with him.
mm,
This was his, I want to say, this is his breakout movie that he's like, this guy can do anything, any type of
mm.
genre.
Yep.
And this was a serious horror movie too. It was serious. It's a serious movie. Um, I, I just can't say how awesome this movie is.
I mean, yeah, it's like I said before, it's just a fantastic and hugely entertaining film.
I mean, it's again something that could have easily made my list, but I just put others above it, honestly. I mean,
Mm.
same with your current pick, B.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, Brain Dead is it's directed by Peter Jackson from like one of the earliest films that he did. It is splatter horror film period of his career, like after Bad Taste, Meet the Feeble. So this was his third film. And even though a lot of people like to say that Shaun of the Dead is the first rom-com film, it really is
It's this
Brain Dead.
one.
It's
Yeah.
it works as a romantic comedy, but it is an absolutely inventive and amazing zombie film with some of the most outrageous, over the top gore you'll
At the
ever
end of
see
the
in a film.
day, it is a romance film. The horror just happens to happen around that
hmm I mean, it is
because of a rat
outrageous.
monkey thing or whatever
Yes.
was going on.
And yeah, it's just a hugely entertaining film. Like it is
Mm.
hugely disgusting from top to bottom. There is some
It is.
inventive
It is.
gore scenes in it, but it's also very sweet as well. So, and also it's hilarious. I mean, it has one
It
of
is
the
very
most
funny. Yeah.
amazing scenes at a park you'll ever see in your life.
I mean, he tries to take the zombie baby to the park. It's incredible. It really is.
It's one. It is definitely worth. It would be top 15 for me, but it's definitely worth. Definitely check it out. All right, almost
Number
halfway there. What's our
6.
number 6?
Oh, no.
If people know me, this will not be a surprise either.
Yes,
That's a
hold
good
on one
pick.
second. My thing's playing up. Sorry.
In case people can't see mine.
I like you got the the posters or
Yeah.
So
images.
number
That's
6.
really cool.
Number
You've
Misery.
got
6.
Okay.
Misery.
Yes.
I don't think you guys are gonna have New Nightmare on there. If it was, I would see it's gonna probably be by now. But this, I absolutely love Wes Craven. He's my favorite horror director. Actually, my favorite director. New Nightmare. I want to say it's the true sequel to
Mhm.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Um, the other ones wouldn't be really canon based on watching it. It's just so meta. You have a very serious Freddy. You don't have
Mm.
the lovable Freddy, which we learned. I want to say starting in 3. It's very meta. Um, I'm sure he had Scream on the mind when he was making this movie because it's how meta it is. It's just the seriousness of it. It is a great. It outside of Dream Warriors, it's probably the best third. It's one top 3 of the franchise, in my opinion, of Freddy Krueger.
Mm.
And it's like I just think how awesome it was. They combined the forces of movie making and real life to it. So I absolutely love New Nightmare.
I will have more to say on New Nightmare at a bit later.
Oh.
Mouth of Madness, huh?
In the Mouth of Madness. Again, like John Carpenter is one of my favorite filmmakers, and I just absolutely adore In the Mouth of Madness. It is kind of it it's H.P. Lovecraft via the way of Stephen King. Like John Carpenter knew what exactly he was doing. But it works because you have like these elements, and if you know Stephen King absolutely was inspired by Lovecraft. Um, so there's a lot of that in there, but I just find it so compelling, even though Sam Neill's accent goes all over the place. He's just fantastic in this, and you can absolutely put it down to what the hell was going on in this film. But you just have it's just so bizarre, but you just have these amazing performances. It's so visually stunning. It leaves me just I don't know, almost rattled, but just at peace with my life. I can't even explain it.
And this was
Oh,
this he did this like immediately after Jurassic Park, right?
Yes.
yeah. So I was not thinking of Sam Neill for a second. Yes, I think so.
Yeah. So, all right, that's it. In the mouth. That's a really good. It's a really good movie. It's very mind trippy.
Exactly.
Bede, what do you have to say
Well,
about
I mean,
Misery?
yeah, well, Misery, I mean, what can I say that hasn't already been said by Marcy? Misery is a fantastic film, and it has an amazing performance from Kathy Bates, which rightfully won her the Oscar. It, even though, like, most of it is kind of just set in one room, it is incredibly intense. And it really kind of takes the stalker plot to new heights by making it this more two-hander between these two characters. And also James Caan is also equally fantastic in it as well.
Mm,
And it also shows that Rob Reiner, like, even though he already had a drama and a comedies under his belt, the man
mm,
could direct a full-blown horror film as well.
mm.
And it's just a great film, tightly scripted, just fantastic stuff.
I mean, just even the dialogue, the
Mm.
way they can deliver something, like it's just almost a perfect film. Honestly, I love it.
Yeah, I mean, Kathy Bates's dialogue, when you actually read it, it is very bizarre and hokey and cheesy, but she makes it terrifying.
So just to let you know, that is not on my list
Oh,
because it would be top 15 for me.
mhm,
Oh,
Because honestly, outside of the hobbling scene, it's very that movie is like the freaking A plus of the movie, and
mm.
anything else in that movie, it's kind of eh, in my opinion. I mean, it's still a really good movie, but it's outside of that, it's forgettable and what I went for me. So,
I'm
but
giving you a death stare right now.
you are, I believe it.
I can't
All
wait
right,
for
let's
this one because Chad's gonna be like, "What the hell is this?"
no. All
Yes.
right, show it.
Number 5.
I've heard of Angel Dust, The Sixth Sense, and Angel Dust. Okay, I've heard of Angel Dust.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I can start. Angel Dust I actually only discovered like last year, and I there is more of a discussion on one of our podcasts about movies we discovered in 2024, and this was one of them. And I guess like how Bede you put Cure was like the sort of the seven um
Mm,
the Japanese version of Seven. Angel
mhm,
Dust has been compared to like the Japanese version of Silence of the Lambs, but it's only really in the fact that you have a main female character and they're dealing with a serial killer, but the rest of it is so different. And it goes into places you don't expect. Like there is a mystery with these women that are being killed, but everything just goes so much deeper. And with the main character that you're with, like there is a connection, but you find out why they're connected to these killings and sort of why that they were brought in to kind of help with the case, but it just completely blew me away. I was so intrigued and just into this movie that it automatically just went right up the scale of what I think are the best, but also my favorite, even just films from the 90s.
I just looked it up. That movie, it took 3 years before it came to the US,
Mm.
from 94 to 97. I've heard of it. I haven't seen it. My Phantoms, you guys seen Phantoms, right?
Ben
I mean,
Affleck was the bomb.
yes, exactly. Ben Affleck was the
Yeah.
bomb in Phantoms, yo.
Yeah. This movie is a straight Twilight Zone, Outer Limits, type of movie. It's Ben Affleck. Ben Affleck was the bomb in Phantoms, yo. It's it was. I just think this movie is so smart of how they do stuff. Even the doctor that came in, Peter O'Toole. No, I don't want to say Peter O'Toole. I could be wrong. Let me look that up.
Chad might hate me because I don't like Phantoms very much.
You don't like Phantoms? It is Peter O'Toole. When he came in, he added like not only like seriousness, but also a comedic part with everything. I just think this is a really good, smart psychological horror movie that's kind of like it's kind of keeping you guessing of what's going on. It does kind of veer off into the what the fuck towards the third act. But it's fine. Liev Schreiber is also really creepy in this movie. Um, even when he is not part of the creature, he is very creepy when he's just a normal person. But
Yeah.
I really love Phantoms.
Maybe I need to revisit it, but it was a case of like I sat down to watch. I put the videotape in, and I'm like, I'm really not liking this all that much. This is kind of stupid. It's yeah.
Yeah, rewatch it. Rewatch it. See if it because when was that? When it first came out? Yeah,
Yeah,
your opinion might have
97,
That was
changed.
yeah.
my reaction when it first came out, and then I think I rewatched it on DVD, and I don't think that really helped, honestly.
Bede, Sixth Sense.
Yeah, I mean, The Sixth Sense is well, it's one of the few horror films where I could safely say it has the power to make you cry by the end of it. And it's something you don't really say about a lot of horror films, like you could be crying by the end of it. But I think it's just a masterfully done film. I mean, this is M. Night Shyamalan early in his career, and you just watch the film and it's so meticulously made. From every shot has a purpose. The performances are amazing. I mean, Haley Joel Osment is probably up there as one of the best child performances of all
Mhm.
time. And and when I rewatched it a few years ago, I forgot it actually is legit very scary as well. Those ghost scenes are handled superbly. And I mean, yes, the twist, like everyone knows what the twist is now, but when you kind of watch it for the first time, unless you're like a very cluey person who figured it out like right away, like I remember just seeing that movie in the cinema when that twist happened, you could hear the entire audience just gasp, like the air was sucked out of the room. And
Yeah.
I mean, he even though M Night is kind of the king of twists and everything now, and everyone knows every time, even when the people go see a movie of his, they kind of like, oh, what's the twist going to be in this one? And it makes me laugh when some of it happens to be there's no twist in it at all. That's the twist. But with The Sixth Sense, though, you rewatch that film again, it's like all the clues are all there. Like it's so
Mhm.
obvious on that second viewing, but you don't even think of it on the first one. Again, unless you're a very cluey person who's sort
Well,
of
I guess
never
I was
seen these
very
things.
cluey because I kind
Yeah.
of. I mean, look, to be fair, I didn't know the twist like straight away or anything, but
Mm.
I kind of knew what was happening about 5 minutes before it happened, so I
Mhm.
wasn't gasping along with everybody else on that opening night. But this is a film that just missed the cut on my list, unfortunately. but I do
Mm.
really adore The Sixth Sense.
No. Let's go to number 4.
Yes. Oh, and
That's why I didn't talk much about it. The Ugly. So I didn't say much about it, but Bede, you hit every point of that movie. That movie is it's the twist. You don't see it coming. Yeah, I mean, there's if you ever watch like like a documentary, I can't think what it was, or like the behind the scenes of
Mhm.
on the DVD, they M. Night actually says all these clues, like the door handle, the color red, and everything.
Mm.
It's just he like you're right. Every scene has a purpose. Every shot has a purpose. Every dialogue had a purpose, and even the minor dialogues you don't think, but it did. Um, it was a very smart movie, and he's tried to recapture that.
Mm.
Yeah, I would say he's had more misses than hits. Um, but I think it's a really smart, well done movie.
And
Um,
yeah, I mean, I agree.
Mm.
Although the only
Just
thing
because
I
it's
don't
not on
do,
my list, I still think it's fantastic.
I
yeah.
mean, the only thing I do disagree was I feel like he's had more hits than misses, but that's just me being terrible.
Mm,
But anyways, his last movie,
yeah,
Trap, was a bagger, yo. As
there
the
was no
kids say.
twist in that movie. Well,
Well, I don't want to
yeah,
give
I
away
would
what
say
happened in that movie.
there kind of was,
Yes.
but Marcy, talk about The Ugly, which I actually like. I like The Ugly. I don't love it, but I like it.
I love it, and Bede was the one who actually introduced me to this film.
Indeed.
Well, sort of, because this was featured on something we both watched. I think
Hmm.
it would have been in the late 90s or very early 2000s,
Yeah, the
about horror
boogeyman.
boogeymen or something. What was it called,
Yeah,
Bede?
boogeyman. That's what it was called. It was
It was
like
called
this
Yeah,
Boogeyman,
horror
yeah.
I
film.
had that DVD. I had that DVD.
Yeah, so yeah, you were like, "Oh, it was featured in that." And I'm like, "Oh, all right." And I was just like, "What the fuck is this New Zealand film that is so compelling, so visually stunning, so just it wraps you in. You're not sure where it's going to go, but it's just it's an incredible film." Like I don't like blabbering on too much because some of these I haven't seen for a little bit. But The Ugly is just something you need to go in, you need to watch it, don't know anything about it, just watch it, experience the film because I think you will be blown away.
Nice. Speed. You had
Hmm.
Scream.
Yeah, I mean,
You put it
obviously,
higher than
it's
me.
already. Well, I mean, Scream. Even though I do think the '90s is a very underrated decade in horror, but at the same time, though, I can't blame people for thinking that Scream was also the film that saved the horror genre, at least at that point. I
At
mean,
least
yeah,
I think box office
yeah,
wise,
mm,
because it was sort of like this hit, but horror
mm.
was doing pretty freaking well on VHS, on
Oh yeah,
video
totally.
rentals and all of that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, totally.
mm,
But you're right though, in terms of like box office, Scream was a mega hit. It
mm,
was, even though it's not the first meta horror film, like there's also a couple of like precursors that were released like a few years or even a decade earlier. But it was kind of one that really kind of just satirized the genre, was a loving tribute to it, but it had great bit of humor, great characters, just great dialogue, great twists in it as well. And it is probably, I would say, Scream as a franchise is definitely the one of the more consistent franchises, because even the weakest ones are still enjoyable in some way.
Yeah.
But the first one at the end of the day is still just the absolute best. And again, I would say this is up there for me as one of Wes Craven's best films, maybe
mm,
arguably his best film, but it is just a hugely entertaining film that's clever and just amazing.
Yeah. All right.
My
Let's.
number 3, and Chad's gonna be like, "What is this?"
Oh.
Again.
All right, show him. Ooh, okay. No, I do not know what Naked Blood is.
Okay. Splatter Naked Blood. I do have a few Japanese films on my list because I do love Japanese cinema. I do love Japanese horror cinema. I love weird Japanese movies. I would almost describe this as I don't like using the term, but this has very much like that surreal, almost David Lynch kind of vibes, looking at sort of an undercurrent of something. But this film just has these visuals. Like there's stuff with a cactus, and you just need to see it to be like, what even? But there's a main focus on sort of this character kind of works on a drug that turns pain to pleasure, and this film is very notable for where it takes that, and it has some very hard to watch scenes, but just there's a whole mixture of things going on as well, and certain things that it has to say. And again, it's a film that just blew me the hell away. With a title like that, I just thought maybe this is going to have naked women covered in blood and not have much to it, but it is very much the opposite of that. It has so much going on. It is hypnotic. It is it's so many things. And again, if you're very squeamish, it might not be for you. If you don't like very surreal or something a little bit off kilter, it might not be for you. But movies like this are very much for me. And I think this explains why I would put something and consider it like one of the best films or horror films of the 90s. But again, my list I knew was going to be a bit more obscure than everyone else's for well, for this topic anyway.
It
So
works. Don't worry about it. So Silence of the Lambs came out in 91, I want to say. It pretty much won every award at the Oscar, as it should be. Anthony Hopkins,
he won Best Actor for like 17 minutes of screen time, so that's pretty
yeah, I
impressive.
know. That's amazing in itself. But it's not just Anthony Hopkins, Jodie Foster, even Buffalo Bill. That whole interaction with Jodie Foster, the night vision scene is just
It's very it's so suspenseful. It's
it
very
is
terrifying, but there's
him.
so I was just going to add in, because this isn't on my list. Again, it's something that just missed being on my list, but it's beautifully macabre. This film, like, I think it's one of those. It comes close to being very perfect because it just gets so many things right.
Mhm.
And again, for me, there's a lot to do with like that visual level that I think is just so beautiful with it. That's what I
Mhm.
wanted to add about Silence of the Lambs.
No, you're absolutely right. It's a very beautiful film. Even like the score, it's very haunting.
Mm,
The
mm,
smartness of the dialogue, especially with Hannibal Lecter, and that's him. That's his character. He's so freaking smart. Um, and it's such a beautiful film, very well done. You're not bored throughout the movie. It
no.
kind of takes you on this crime thriller-ish, but it does have so many horror elements sprinkled throughout the movie. With them wearing the skin, the cannibalism. It's probably I'm probably gonna say it's the most probably successful horror movie due to the fact of how many awards it won.
I think box office wise, and this I think goes back to a previous game. Anthony Hopkins, I think, is in the top 3 like highest grossing horror actors of all time because of these films.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he doesn't do a lot of horror movies, but he's definitely when he does it, he knows what to pick.
I mean, he's also in
And
Bede's pick.
Yes.
yeah, he is.
Yeah,
All right. So
well,
Bede, Dracula.
Bram Stoker's Dracula. This is one that even when I was a kid, this movie, I was fascinated by this movie. Even before, I mean, I was terrified of horror films as a kid, so this one I was kind of just more intrigued by. And then, of course,
Mm.
watching it as I got older, I loved it. And then the more times I've seen it, I just love it even more. It's like there's been so many adaptations of Dracula to the big screen, but I think what Francis Ford Coppola did with this film is just ingenious. Like it's definitely without a doubt one of the most visually stunning movies ever made.
Mm.
The
Oh,
production
100%.
design,
Yeah.
the production designs, the costumes, the special effects, all of which were done in camera. And all done
I
by a
think
19-year-old Roman Coppola.
But like we recently got to see this on the big screen. It was later last year, I
It was
think.
last year, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, but like having that, like I'd not seen it on the big screen because when it came out theatrically, I was way too young.
Mm.
But having the chance to see it on that scale, it's just so visually beautiful. And I mean, the costumes alone are absolutely stunning. And when we saw the film, we sort of got a talk before the film, and they focused a lot on the costume work and stuff, which I thought was really interesting because that's one of the like more fascinating aspects of that
Mm.
film. And again, this is one that didn't quite get to my list, but I really enjoy it a lot. And it is a very horny movie. I enjoy that
It
it's a
is.
very horny
It
movie.
is. It
And
is.
Gary Oldman with those glasses and that top hat, I would do absolutely anything for him. So I get it.
I would say his design as Dracula too.
Mm.
It's like he's awesome when he does roles like that.
Mm,
Mm.
Like he's done a few others as well, and Keanu Reeves. And you said Anthony Hopkins as Van Helsing's in it. Winona
Yep.
Ryder. It is like a very kind of like breathtaking movie to watch.
Mm.
mm,
Exactly. And also it won a bunch of Oscars as well, including for the costumes too.
mm.
So that's
Has
even
yeah,
Deservedly
better.
so. Yeah.
Mm.
yeah. Definitely should have.
Mm.
All right, we're down to our last two. We haven't got a match just yet. We've missed by one, but let's see if we can match number two.
Oop. Oh.
Hey, hey.
We've got repeats though.
We got repeats though. Marcy, New Nightmare.
Yes. All right. So, um, Wes Craven's New Nightmare for me, I think, is my favorite Wes Craven film. I love Wes Craven. I genuinely have adored Wes Craven for a very long time. I have rewatched his films many times, but I just feel like he just hit something special with this. And I do put it a bit above Scream because, we already had A Nightmare on Elm Street that he came up with and so forth. Like, this is his baby in a way. And then there would be the sequels and stuff. But this is like taking that creation and then doing something so different with it. And one of the reasons I think this has stayed with me for so long, because when I first watched it, it was something that stayed with me. Like, being maybe 10 or 11, it's hard to remember. I think it was more like 11. Like, that Freddy felt scary because it's not really Freddy, it's like this demon. And
Mm-hmm.
the way that it is meta, that it puts it in real life, but um you get to see like Heather Langenkamp kind of playing a version of herself. You get Wes Craven as a version of himself, John Shea, Robert Englund, but they're just very genuine performances. And again, horror child actor Miko Hughes is so fantastic as her son. And this film for me, it was actually like genuinely terrifying in moments, and it just added this new dimension to the mythology of Freddy,
Mm-hmm.
and the mythology of, I guess, sort of the series. And other things like, yeah, it's not the first sort of meta horror film, but it just kind of nailed how you could do it in such a way that, for me, I think is probably my favorite Wes Craven movie, but I also think it's his best movie. But there are so many that I put very highly. Like, this list alone has 2 Wes Craven films. And I could have easily have said Scream 2 could have been on there. The Serpent and the Rainbow, The People Under the Stairs. These, I think they're still in the 90s, or at the very least borderline. Like, Wes Craven could fit in more. Like, I just think he had that talent for what he did. And yeah, New Nightmare, I think, it means a lot to me as a film, and that
Yeah.
is why it is my number 2.
And there's not a lot of deaths in that movie. It's, I think, the lowest of the whole franchise, but that's not what it's going for. But
Mm,
I feel so bad for Julie, the babysitter. She got a
yeah.
rough, horrible death, and she was probably one of the sweetest characters. They always do that for sweetest characters. You get the
Yeah.
most horrible death.
I mean, the people that do like die, like, they don't deserve it. And
No.
but it's just so clever. It's so inventive. It holds up. Like, I cannot say enough amazing thing. It's one of my favorites.
Bede, you want to talk about Silence of the Lambs first
Well,
before I go with Scream?
you
Well,
kind of put,
Bede,
yes.
better put the lotion on your skin, or else you'll get the hose again.
I mean, I got my lotion here somewhere. Oh, wait a minute. Does moisturizer count? Because I have moisturizer.
Yeah, you
But-
put the lotion on its skin so you don't get the hose again.
Exactly.
But also, I'm
And
having an old friend for dinner.
well, I mean, I always have old friends for dinner, but that's beside the point. But anyways, I mean, The Silence of the Lambs is just so iconic. It's a movie that's been a part of my life forever. Like it is just so many memorable moments. The performances are amazing. I mean, Jodie Foster and Anthony Hopkins are fantastic, but a lot of the supporting cast is also equally great. It's very gritty, it's very grimy, but it really is those scenes between Foster and Hopkins that just are amazing. They're back and forth with each other. The
It's
dialogue
because
in those scenes,
they have such
amazing. Yeah.
strong chemistry
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
That dialogue that they bring back and forth just works really well. And unfortunately, that's kind of the movie itself is just not very good. The story's not very good, but Hannibal was very much lacking that
Hmm.
because
Yeah.
Jodie Foster wasn't there. Yeah.
Hmm.
You
Yeah, and
could
I
have
mean,
literally had just them two talk for a longer time,
Mm,
and you're still captivated by their performances and their
mm,
banter. It worked so
mm,
well.
mm,
oh yeah, exactly, exactly. I mean, it's just an amazing film that definitely deserved all the Oscars, and it's kind of sad that it's still the only horror film to have won Best Picture. But we've had a few nominees in that
Mhm.
category since then, like The Substance last year, and hopefully there will be more, and hopefully another win very soon.
mm.
Um, Scream. Scream was the reason I got into horror movies or horror filmmaking because
Mhm.
I love the story so much. Like, as soon as I watched it, I like started literally typing up a screenplay, like reading up like what's the screenplay, format and all that stuff. So it got me into filmmaking. It's my ultimate slasher movie of everything. I literally had a DVD, or not DVD, a VHS of this I got for Christmas, and my VCR, it literally played it in a loop till the VHS ran out. So anytime I turned it on, I knew exactly what part of the movie it was on. I fell asleep watching it. I can recite the movie. Um, I watched it probably well over 100 times.
Yeah. Oh, me too. Like, that VHS got worn out. As soon
Yeah.
as I could buy it, I bought it. And
Um,
Scream probably is honestly one of my most rewatched movies ever
mhm, mhm.
from just
I
in
mean,
the 90s.
I still watch YouTube videos of like things you miss in Scream to see
Mm,
if I actually missed something, or But I absolutely love the movie. It's one of my favorites. I mean, it was very between 1 and 2, it's very hard to, it was a flip-flopper. Like, I can literally flip a coin between 1 and 2. But I absolutely love Scream. I'm not gonna say it saved horror. I would say it brought in a new set of eyes to horror, and I think that's what I was going for. You've the teenage thing that's been done millions of times in the 80s and the 70s. So it's nothing new. I would just say the realism of it because it's not a supernatural killer. It's not. It's an everyday human. It's your next door neighbor. It's your classmate. It's your boyfriend. Whoever. It could be literally anyone. That's what I think it made it so cool and so appealing to in the 90s, especially in the 90s. Cell phones were a thing, but they weren't as they are now. Um, like I can go on and on about Scream, how much I love it, but it's definitely like probably one of my favorite all-time movies of all time. All right, so we're up to number 1. I have not seen my number 1 yet.
Oh,
So
I
I'm very
haven't either.
curious.
I don't know if they're all gonna be the same or not.
All right, let's show it. Candyman, Blair Witch. Oh, we were so close. Damn. And none of you guys had 7.
I mean, I was debating putting 7 on it, but I suppose I personally consider it a horror film, but I know some people would see it as more as a thriller rather than a horror film.
I feel like it's more thriller over horror, but I don't know if it would actually make my list of 10.
It's kind of like I'll just talk about 7. It's kind of like Silence of the Lambs. You have a thriller. Yes, 7's got a thriller crime, but you have horrifying incidents. You have a serial killer going out there brutally killing people, and it's the psychological. It's psychological horror because Brad Pitt's character pretty much breaks down. He's slowly dropping tears throughout the whole movie. I do consider it a horror movie, but I just think it's so smart. I mean, especially that I did like a report on on this movie in my English class, and we watched the last 7 minutes, I believe, with Kevin Spacey, Morgan Freeman, and Brad Pitt. It's just a smart, clever movie. David Fincher, obviously, top notch, A+ director. It's just this movie's so dark. It's so smart. I think this is probably one of my all-time favorite 90s movies of all time, and that's why I said with this and Scream, but I think 7 is just so like awesome.
I think it's one of those just quintessential films from the 90s. And again, it was a big deal when it came out, and there's a lot of memorable parts in that film, like things that'll stick with me. I don't know where else I was going with that. But yeah, again, the ending, it's a film that is definitely remembered for the ending because that ending is just fucked up. It really is. But yeah, like I do consider it like a horror film, but it's definitely got more than one kind of genre and vibe. But it's something that probably wouldn't have just like made my list. But there are other things that just kind of didn't make my list, like Interview with the Vampire, for example. Like another one that I love and think it's another like kind of quintessential 90s film, but didn't quite make the cut, for example. So
Yeah. So Marcy, we started talking about Candyman. I was like iffy on this one. This one literally is like right at the bottom. Like this is number 11. I just couldn't I just had so much fun with Faculty. Like Candyman is it's literally right on there. And it is a great horror movie. It really is.
I think at the end of the day, Candyman, like when I really think about it, like this might actually be like my favorite horror film of the 90s, and one that I do think might be the best, or at least one of the best. Um, and it's this sort of, it's the Clive Barker, but then you've got Bernard Rose, and it's this just hypnotically beautiful but horrific film that dives into this like urban legend and expanding on how something becomes a legend, but you also have this very iconic presence of Candyman, and this is the role that people knew Tony Todd for because of that presence, that voice, just what he was able to do. But again, there's this beautiful, but again, I'll use the word macabre, kind of chemistry between Virginia Madison and Tony Todd with these characters. And there's a sadness to it, but there's beauty in it. It's emotional. A lot goes on, and then it gives you this kind of gut punch of an ending, but it's also kind of an ending you needed to see happen. I anytime I watch this film, I just love it even more. I get more out of it. Um, it's just honestly for me, it's just one of those most beautiful films to exist. Just everything
You have
about
Tony Todd's
Candyman.
voice too.
I mean, honestly, that I would be hypnotized by that. The way he will say Helen. I mean, if he was going Marcy, I'd be like, yeah, hi Candyman. I'll do whatever you want, mate. I'm all good. But yeah, I adore this film so much. It again, it like my first viewing, this film felt terrifying, and I wanted to look away, but again, it's like the beauty of this film. I couldn't, and I thought this is kind of gory, but it's got so much going on. It's very beautiful. And since that first viewing, like Candyman, 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 Candyman. Yeah, we're good. I just think it's one of the best. It's one of my favorite movies ever.
Mm.
R.I.P. Tony Todd once again. You were so missed, dude. Seriously,
Yeah, definitely.
one hell of a legend.
Are you surprised none of us had that on your list? On our
I'm
list?
quite surprised nobody else had Candyman anywhere.
I mean, to be fair, the 90s, like when you kind of really think about it, like I
It
said
was hard to
before,
narrow down a list,
it was
honestly.
really hard to narrow down. But I would say any of the movies, either the ones that you mentioned that didn't make my list, could easily have made the list if it was like a different decade, um,
Or if
or
we were
even
doing a top 20 or 30.
exactly. But I guess
Again,
with
like,
my pick,
it pains me to have to like take movies off or not include them. But
Yeah.
again, like some Chad had like Tremors. Absolutely, I love it so much, but it just didn't make the list. Sixth Sense didn't somehow make my list. Like, it's not easy.
Yeah. It's funny. All of our number ones, no one had it on the list.
yeah.
Anyway,
What
Bede, I
B
cut
like?
you off. Sorry.
Yeah, B. Are you surprised none of us had Blair Witch Project?
I mean, I was not surprised with Marcy because Marcy is always. I know Marcy, you've always had a bit more of a mixed perception with Blair Witch.
It's not one of my favorites, even though I saw it on my birthday, opening day. I I don't know. I probably need to revisit Blair Witch, but I kind of almost find Book of Shadows more fascinating because of the mess, and we never have got the Berlinger cut of that film, and we deserve it. But I
Hopefully, one
completely
day it
understand
happens.
your feelings, but I am actually surprised The Ugly wasn't on your list, Speed.
I mean, to be fair, like again,
You
like that
forgot, didn't
movie.
you?
No, it wasn't necessarily I forgot. It was more the fact that it didn't quite make it. And even though I do love the movie, but it's a film that needs a full block needs to be restored and re-released because it basically has languished on DVD for forever, and it needs a
Mm.
proper release. But with
Well,
Blair Witch,
I'm hoping
Hmm.
because Umbrella are a distribution company here, but they have started doing bringing out more a New Zealand wave of films. So I'm hoping that they can get the rights and do The Ugly. I really am.
I really hope so too. But with the Blair Witch Project, this is a film that I mean it wasn't always my number one horror film. Like, I mean, I've always loved it ever since I first saw it. Because like a lot of people, I was caught up with the hype of it. Like, I remember seeing all the websites and I was really caught up with the mythology of it. But so you think, okay, a film that's hyped up that much is surely going to disappoint. But the thing is, when I sat down to watch it, it really just blew me away because it really is one of the scariest and most unsettling horror films I've ever seen. I mean, this is a film that scared me so much. I have not been camping ever since.
I'm like,
I mean,
it did not scare me the way it scared you.
I suppose in a way, like I was never that big on camping. Like, I did it, but I was never huge on it. So, but it was like a lot of things. Like when I would go out camping, I was like lying there and I would hear weird sounds around me. And I think that's the thing that what Blair Witch does really well is it really captures that feeling of when you're alone in the woods, you're camping, you just hear strange sounds all around you. You don't know what's out there. And I feel like for me, one of the most terrifying things is if you are camping and and then you hear footsteps, like those type of little simple things are what terrify me. And I think also too with found footage horror, like again, it's a subgenre that is either works or it doesn't. I think for me, what makes the Blair Witch Project still the best found footage horror film ever made is it feels real. Like the way it's shot, the way it's performed by the three stars, and the fact that like it may seemingly like nothing is happening, but so much is going on in terms of watching these three characters kind of just as they get further and further lost in these woods and how it sort of deteriorates their psychologically, mentally, and physically. It just feels real. Like, I'm not surprised, like, one of the things
I
they
think
did.
because part of it was real because
Yeah, yeah.
it's how they knew how they could set this up where
Mhm.
the actors kind of knew a little bit, but they could fuck with them in a way that
Mm,
you're getting legitimate things out of them,
mm,
which absolutely kind of adds to the atmosphere of the film. It's just for me, I think I was more fascinated with the beginning of the film where they're
mhm,
interviewing people and talking about
yeah,
this legend, and I was very engaged in that.
mm,
And I don't know what, like, yeah, they're people descending into their own madness because of what's happening in this woods, and the witch,
mm,
it's fucking with them. But I just didn't, for me, and this came out when I was like, what, 14, or I
yeah,
turned 14, and I was still kind of scared of things and movies, but I just was not really like the
mm,
sounds and everything. I'm like, yeah, I think for me it's more like it's very psychological in a way, and
mm,
it didn't feed into that the way I kind of wanted it to.
mm,
But with all that said, I do think the Blair Witch Project has one of the most like unsettling visual endings, and I will
Mhm.
absolutely credit it with having something that hits very hard. Even if I found the film itself to not really connect with me, that visual at the end, I think, stuck.
mm. And also
And
too,
yeah,
like, other scary moments, like the kids outside the tent and they're laughing and they run into the woods. Like, you never see the Blair Witch at all in this movie, but its presence is very much felt. But also, you can also see it, like, even though, yes, we've had sequels since this movie, but you could also see it as like, could it be somebody just messing with them? Could it just be like all of this is in their heads or something like that? So,
Well,
because
I
I mean,
think this was like I thought about like a bit later.
mm,
And it's because of that documentary Cropsy, where it
yeah,
was essentially like a real person became like an urban legend, you could even argue that a serial killer perhaps operates under the guise of this legend. So you absolutely, if you look at it as a standalone, there are absolutely different ways you could have gone about it as well. Which,
And
Yeah.
yeah,
their marketing, they marketed it like it was a real,
Oh.
like real.
it was
Mm.
genius. It is probably some of the smartest marketing.
Yeah.
The fact that they were like, no, you guys are dead. Let's put missing posters up at the film festivals. Like, they had such a great idea. To the point where
It-
people legit, like Bede, thought it was very, very real, and then it eventually needed to be debunked.
It's most successful independent movie of all time by like hands down. Like this started, I want to say this started the mainstream indie independent horror movies.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because at the point, like, I mean, yeah, there was independent horror films, but a lot of it at least when this movie came out was mainstream horror, like the slashers and the teen films.
Yeah.
But then Blair Witch came out, became as big as it is, and then after that, for the next couple of years, you would see more of an influx of indie horror films that would come out. I mean, obviously there would be the Blair Witch clones, but actual like full blown like independent horror
But
films, like the
it also really opened the floodgates for people to be like, oh, we can do this with a camera. We
Yeah.
can do this
Yeah.
kind of found footage, even though, yeah, it had been done before. But and it's a genre I have issues with a lot of the time, but there are some genuinely fantastic found footage films that exist that make me believe you need to be filming this right now. The Blair Witch, even that movie, I'm like, I don't know if you should be filming this right now, but all right.
So that's our top 10 list. And you guys ready for the top 3 scoring?
Yeah, what is even
Yeah.
going to be on there? It's going to be ones we
Oh.
all said, I think.
We have 3 decisive winners.
Okay.
Just to let you know, it was pretty much 5 movies. Well, outside of our 3. So 4 movies actually got more than 10 points.
Okay.
The 4th place was Sixth Sense with 13. So number 14, Wes Craven's New Nightmare.
Hey.
So that was good. Number 2 was 17 points, Silence of the Lambs. And the number 1,
Scream?
and he wanted, yes, it was Scream.
Well, I think
with 18 points.
I think that's actually a solid top 3, to be fair.
and also I would say I think Scream might have been the only movie on all of our lists, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it was.
you guys doubled up a few times. I think I was almost the Lone Ranger on this one. I had New Nightmare with you, Chad.
Yep. Yeah, and Bede and I had Silence of the Lambs. We all had Scream, just different order, and Marcy had it very low as well. But we didn't match, but we had a lot of duplicates. Marcy, I just like, yeah, New Nightmare so high. That's awesome. I really do. That's like so awesome. You had that.
It was so
high.
tough to kind of decide, I guess, like my 1 and 2. And it was between those two, and I just had to make a decision. I'm like, no, I think I got to go with Candyman. So
yeah, this ain't hard. This
yeah.
is very hard to do. This isn't easy.
Yeah,
Making this list.
I feel like other decades for me might actually be easier.
Yeah.
And I don't know if they'd necessarily be obscure or not. Like some of mine have been, but yeah.
No, we that's the beauty of this show is we're learning new horror movies. Like definitely want to
Exactly.
check out Bladder or a Splatter. Definitely want to check that out. And also Perfect Blue, you know, stuff like that. That's the beauty of the show.
And again, it's like Perfect Blue was another one that could have been on my list because again, it's another one I love. It was just so hard to kind of narrow it down, but also have a top 10 that is Marcey in all the ways. So
Yes.
But if you want, so if when you watch this, leave a comment below. Tell us what you want what our future show should be. There's so many different options we can do. So it's funny. This is what show was done for I Know What You Did Last Summer, and none of us
Nobody
had that
picked it.
on.
It's in
Nobody.
number one in my heart.
But that's just funny. Nobody had it on there. But thank you so much for watching. Thank you to Bede and Marcey for joining this fun game. Bede, by the time
Yes.
this is released, your show is coming out.
Yes.
Your bloody good time. You're hosting. First time you've hosted in a bit. And and what is it? What are you doing?
Well, it's going to be a Night of the Living Dead theme one, or at least like Night of the Living Dead adjacent George A. Romero's Living Dead series adjacent the remakes of some of those films in the franchise. We shall see.
Oh crap. And who's playing?
Well, obviously you'll be there, Chad, because I'm going out to people who have at least been involved, either big Night of the Living Dead fans or filmmakers who have directed versions of Night of the Living Dead. So, I mean, I'll have to ask people. I mean, I don't want to give away who some of these people are, but yes, Chad, I know you have to be on it because you made a Night of the Living Dead remake yourself, so you have to be on this one.
Remake.
And I'll be a scorekeeper.
Yes.
Marcey wants nothing to do with it. She's like, I'm
Marcy's
not playing.
like, I want to give other people a chance to also play and test their knowledge of Night of the Living Dead. So I'm happy
And
to be
you
scorekeeper.
and also you don't want to lose your winning streak. I
probably have already lost it by the time this ranking video drops. We'll see.
We'll see. But thank you so much. Make sure you leave a thumbs up on the video. Comment future episodes you want us to do. Especially subscribe to the channel. You get updates on all the movies. The only way to do that is hitting that bell. Definitely check out playabloodyggoodtime.com. The website's updated after every game. You can check out the gauntlet for all the games we play on A Bloody Good Time. You can hit the players. You can see all the players. Check out their links, like Super Marcey's got supermarcey.com on there. It takes you right to their page. Check out the other podcasts that's partnered with us. But thank you guys so much, and definitely thank you guys for watching.